I think as all investors or like participant in the crypto space, Web3 space, right? How do we identify these upcoming ecosystems and be sufficiently exposed to it right now?
Cryptocurrency exchange.
Non-fungible. We only take Bitcoin and other favorite cryptocurrency.
Hey guys, welcome back to a semi-long overdue podcast with Jacky and myself. We have a very good host named Z who has helped us do a lot of interviews and run a lot of the podcasts recently. But Jacky and I managed to find a little bit of time, so we decided, hey, shall we head into the studio and do one episode of the ChinDB podcast?
Yes, it's been a long time.
And so we thought it was a good opportunity for like Jacky and myself to like catch up, see what we're doing in this bear market, because I know a lot of people have suddenly become a little bit less interested in crypto suddenly.
Yeah.
A lot of people are in hibernation mode. So I guess it's an update on that, and also what are certain takes on recent news, because there's a lot that's happening in the space right now. Some of you may not be aware because you probably stopped looking at your Twitter. And so we're here to kind of do both lah. So Jacky, I think for starters, what have you been doing this bear market?
In the previous podcast, right, I always say like I am a holder.
Yeah.
I always hold all the way, but I have actually mostly exited most of my positions already to almost 100%, actually 100% in stables.
Oh, okay.
I am mostly just trading in and out, shorting and then longing and just scalping a little bit lah, because very hard to be bullish. I always say we are not bullish enough, but at this period, short term I'm not very bullish, but long term I'm always bullish lah, right?
Yeah.
So right now I'm just doing a little bit of trading here and there, and hopefully when the right price come, and then I'll deploy my capital again.
So you don't hold any ETH, no layer ones?
So my ETH are mostly in my NFTs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I look at NFTs as leverage play on ETH. So when the bull market comes back up again, then hopefully the NFTs will go back in value, and then the ETH value will also go up. The floor price of the collection will also go up lah. So my ETH is actually in NFT right now.
Yeah, that's your store of value lah.
That's my store of value for my ETH right now.
Which makes sense. Okay, so you mentioned things like when the price is right or the time is right, then you're going to deploy.
Yeah.
What is the price? What is the time? What is the coin?
Wow. Okay, before that, what are you doing right now? Are you doing anything interesting?
So similar to you, I've kind of redeployed certain things, but I didn't move them into stable. So what I've done is that quite a lot of the altcoins or like even non-layer ones that I was invested in, such as like Sandbox, Decentraland, we spoke about a lot of those. I've kind of moved a lot of them into ETH. I would say maybe about 2 months ago. I think just as when like the bear market started really happening, I started moving them into ETH. And so yeah, I think majority of my holdings now is in ETH. I still got Bitcoin, and then the rest I've kind of just left it.
Yeah.
I know we spoke about Credo.
Yes.
A while back. That was again a massive like fall from grace, right?
Yeah.
We don't know what the protocol is going to be like, but because I invested so much in that, I am just leaving it there to see how much I can make back when the bull run happens, whenever that happens, 2 or 3 years from now. That's fine. So that's kind of like my position. I think like certain things where I feel like, okay, I feel like I didn't lose too much yet, I moved them into ETH. Certain things where I felt like, wow, I've lost like 70% or 80% of that.
Or 90%.
90%.
My one, all 90%, yeah.
Yeah, actually quite a lot of them 90%.
Yeah.
The ones that are really like 90%, I've kind of just held that just so that hopefully one day I can maybe cut the loss when it does come back lah, hopefully. Yeah.
I think that's quite interesting. So like one of the pointers that we have on our notes, right, to talk about, right, is that has our thesis changed since 3 months ago though? So in the bull market, we were very bullish, right, on all the different counters, all the different stuff that we spoke about, right? You're bullish on certain counters then, and now maybe you're not too sure.
I mean, I think there were 2 major categories. I think the first was meta coins, I would say. So like I think like whatever was hype or like seen as the hype thing at that moment of time, right? So I think when we talk about Decentraland and Sandbox, I think the whole metaverse hype, was pretty big at that point of time. I think it was shortly after like Facebook said that, hey, they're going to build their version of the metaverse, and then everyone started to buy into like Decentraland and Sandbox. I think there were some of those coins where I feel like, okay, is it still sustainable? Yes, I think so. But I think if we are waiting for the bull run to come back in 2-3 years time, I think there's going to be a lot of alternatives by that point of time. I mean, I think we looked at the other side, for example, which managed to have so many more users in a much nicer looking place in their rough beta, right? Basically Bored Ape Labs, they basically created their version of the metaverse. And to me, it's like, okay, this looks way better than what Decentraland looked like, right? And so I think, I'm not saying that they are going to be the ones that build the eventual metaverse, but I think there are going to be a lot of players, and when they say bear market is the time to build, there's going to be a lot of builders.
Yeah.
And so to me, it was that, okay, I think if metaverse becomes a meta again, there's going to be a lot more players, so I don't want to be seen holding that back lah.
Right.
So I think that was more of that. Hey guys, so I wanted to take this time out to share about Finblocks, who is kindly sponsoring our podcast episode today. Finblocks is a reliable savings platform where you can earn rewards on your idle cryptocurrencies. And what we like about Finblocks is its simple to use interface, and the yields are compounded and paid daily. They've also been actively communicating with users about new products and updates, showing huge commitment to transparency and safety, especially in this uncertain market. There are no minimum amounts for you to start using Finblocks, and we also heard from an insider that there might be a Finblocks token coming out in the next several months, which will definitely be good news for all Finblocks users. Finblocks is currently available on both mobile and web app, and of course, there is a referral program too, where you can get your crypto kakis to start earning yields on their idle crypto. Alright, back to the episode. I think the other thing was that during the bull run, it's very easy to be bullish about everything. And I remember going like, wow, during the bull run, right? Actually,
Anything also can.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like I remember the dreams, right, was that when I look at the coin, going, okay, can I turn this into $1 million? Can I turn this into $1 million? Will this give me $1 million? And then deploy,
Everything,
right?
yeah.
And that was really it.
Yeah.
Can this 500x? Can this 200x? You know, that kind of thing. And now that I'm in like the bear market with like so much of my money like kind of lost, it was more like, okay, had I had all this money left in fiat, and this was when I got started in crypto, right? This would have been a fantastic time for me to actually have come head over my shoulders, actually deploy now. And so I'm kind of just realizing whatever you're bullish on during a bear market, that should be what you're bullish on in a bull run as well.
Right.
Because if not, I think you're going to be overly optimistic, right, about a lot of things. And so what am I buying now? I'm not buying anything, but I think when there's some signs of like markets coming back up, or if I were to start DCAing, unfortunately I lost a lot that I'm going to wait first. I'm going to save a bit more before I start DCAing again.
Yeah.
It's going to be on Ethereum law.
Okay.
You know, I think there's some exciting things happening. I think the merge is finally going to happen. I think there's going to be maybe other layer ones. I'm not so sure, but sticking with what I know. And then beyond crypto, there are other like growth stocks that maybe I might DCA into also.
Okay, so you're moving away from crypto into equities.
I know I'm not moving away into crypto. I think that's a big thing too. I think I've always been into both equities and crypto. I wasn't like you that I sold all my US equities, right?
My God. Okay.
I think you know, I still, all this while I still held on to like things like Tesla, my S&P 500. I still had blue chips like, you know, Apple and Amazon. I've always held those.
Yeah.
So it's just more of like, how do I balance the scales? How do I balance the ratios between the two? How about you? How has your thesis changed?
Wow, I feel like what you mentioned, I agree. In terms of the category wise, nothing has changed.
Yeah.
For example, metaverse, right?
Yeah.
I think there's going to still be a winner. Hence, your Sandbox, your Decentraland, your, you know, whatever who is going to come on board, right? Those, there will still be category winner. And how do we identify it? So you're right. I think maybe in the next 1 or 2 years, in the next cycle, right, there might be a new category leader, which may not be Sandbox anymore, for example. Yeah, so that said, I think I'm still bullish on, you know, the top few category leaders right now lah. So like your Sandbox, your Decentraland, I think they are great prizes to accumulate.
Yeah.
But that said, even if we accumulate right now, I accumulate right now, I think we have to pay attention on who are the fast rising star in that particular category. So you know, metaverse as a category, gaming as a category, play to earn as a category, right, it will still be around next.
Yeah.
Right, and then obviously blockchain layer ones will still be a staple to come in the next cycle lah. So then, how do I position my portfolio to identify which one is the next category leader and identify them early lor? I think that's something that you know, remains. So maybe the last few months ago, I was bullish on a particular blockchain that starts with T or F, for example. Now, that might not be the case anymore. That doesn't mean that I'm not bullish on layer one as a whole.
Yeah.
Right. So I think as all investors or like participant in the crypto space, Web3 space, right? How do we identify these upcoming ecosystems and be sufficiently exposed to it right now? So I think that's where my space is at right now lah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you, and I think identifying who that category.
Yeah,
was gonna be,
and you did mention Ethereum also. It's quite interesting also. Like before this, right? In some of the previous one of the previous podcasts, right? I say I don't own Bitcoin anymore, and I don't own ETH anymore because everything is on riskier assets, right? So I feel like it's a very boomer thing. And internally, I mean, in terms of like crypto communities, they also say like Bitcoin and Ether are boomer coins.
Yeah.
It was only until the crash that I realized how come the crypto OG will always say that you have to buy Bitcoin and Ether. I never understood it. Now I understood already. Like there's a saying that says you buy altcoins so that eventually you use those gains, right, to buy Bitcoin and Ether.
Okay.
Right. So I mean, as you
Yeah.
see right now, I think Bitcoin and Ether only draw down by like 60% as opposed to the rest 95% and more, right? So
It's exactly that. But I think also like it got me, and I know a lot of investors a lot more realistic with like the gains lah.
Yeah.
I just had a flashback because before I started delving into crypto, right,
Yeah.
I would think a little bit more responsible with the risks that I was willing to take, right? Like before jumping into crypto, I had a portion of my portfolio in bonds, even bonds, you know, like which was giving me like what 2% that kind of
Singapore
thing.
savings bond.
Singapore savings bond.
Hey.
I remember having some in that. I had some in like 4% instruments, some in like 6% instruments, and then my riskiest one was like S&P 500, for example, which is not even that risky.
Yeah.
So like I started looking back at those days, right, and go, wow, like I would have been really happy today had I just kept it that way, you know?
Yeah.
But then again, if the bull run continued and I was suddenly super rich, then I'll be like, what am I doing only holding on to this?
Yeah.
So like, I think it always puts you in like a good perspective to like kind of understand, okay, how much risk are you willing to take? Because you finally were able to quantify what the risk looks like.
Yeah.
Before this, people think like, oh, crypto is riskier asset, but then look at all the gains, right?
Yeah.
And now you understand, okay, actually this is what the risk looks like
Got it.
today.
Okay.
And so like, I think with the boomer class of like crypto, I completely get that also.
Yeah.
But now I finally realized should have stuck to what I was doing, which was at that point of time DCAing about $1,000 or $2,000 in Ethereum and Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Speaking of Ethereum, I don't know if you've been keeping up to date with the merge. So I think they recently they just completed, I think, their second to last testnet, which went okay. And so they're going to do one more, and then the merge will be completed by the end of the year.
Yeah. There were some chatters, but I was not paying attention to it.
Yeah.
Because to me, the Ethereum merge will not change anything, or it will not move the needle for the Ethereum blockchain. Like from my understanding, right, the demand at its peak for Ethereum TPS, right, transaction per second, right, is in the tens of thousands. The merge, I think the current TPS is about 10 to 15 per second for Ethereum or per minute. I can't remember already, so it's 10 to 15. But the demand for Ethereum is at the tens of thousands. So even if the merge happened, right, maybe if it 3x's the transaction, right, to like 50 or 100, it cannot match up to the demand that's needed.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really move the needle. So I feel like not really, like it doesn't do anything for the blockchain ecosystem. We will still need layer 2s. We will still need alternative like blockchains like Polygon, BSC, or the layer 2s lah, right?
Speaking of which, I'm still holding on to my Polygon actually. That's one of the few that I didn't.
Oh, okay. It's good.
Yeah, since like how long ago when I.
Yeah. Okay, but NFA lah. So you decide what's good for you lah.
Of course, NFA.
So I have not been paying attention to Ethereum. I feel like it'll be priced in already. But even if it's priced in, the only thing that will move the market right now is macro. Right. Even if Ethereum suddenly changed to like, Solana level or like Polygon level, right? I don't think it's gonna make a difference because generally everyone is just interest is low lah, interest level.
Yeah, agreed on that. I think it's more of like whether or not the merge was happening. If the macro landscape does change in like 18 to 36 months.
Wow, 不要啦. I think 12 months already.
12 months. I mean, like if we look at previous like crashes and like how long it took to recover.
1-2 years.
1-2 years, right? But then like when it does recover, what are the first 1 or 2 coins that will bounce back first? And I feel like it would be the usual Ethereum, Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Then when you make those gains, then cash out, then altcoin, then that whole system repeats again.
Yeah.
So yeah lah.
But there are a lot of like reasons to be optimistic. I might be coping a little bit, but whatever bad news that's happening is already being priced in already. I feel like if there's a sudden good news, right, the market will react quite positively, which could be a dead cat bounce, right? So I don't know. I feel like, interest rate thing is like everyone knows about it already. We're gonna reach this state and whatnot, and then inflation, everyone knows already, and then like recession, countries are like talking about it already. So war is going. If all of a sudden today, but not really lah. If today, Russia says they're gonna stop the war, then wow, all of a sudden it will bounce out like a couple of thousand points, right, for ETH, right? But I mean, this morning, the Russia Prime Minister said we're just getting started only, so not really. But anyway, I feel like all the negative news are being priced in. I feel like.
Yeah. But what you're saying is that all it takes is just a little bit of good news.
Yeah.
And we hopefully might see a little bit of a bounce. Of which that price action you could benefit from lah.
Yeah, probably. So I'm actually trying to price the bottom.
Ooh.
But I don't know when is the bottom. I feel like maybe the bottom is the 800 plus for ETH the other 2-3 weeks ago, right? Which I didn't buy anything lah.
Kelvin Learns Investing actually had a really good video about like how do you know that it's the bottom, right, or something.
What did he say? Is it? I mean, are we bottom already?
The conclusion was that it's very hard to tell. That no one really knows. Yeah. But I think if everyone is saying that this is the bottom was probably like a few days ago already, right?
Yeah.
So then the main takeaway is that DCA, because DCA your average price won't be the bottom, but at least you're not trying to time something and then get left behind. Yeah,
so I might be deploying something soon as my first tranche lah, hopefully. So that's what I might be doing lah. But actually there are also a lot of reasons to be pessimistic. So actually the whole market is not very sure. If you look at the price action, we're just ranging. We're not sure what's happening. Are we over, or is there more stuff that's gonna happen? Because like there are some news that talks about recession is gonna earnings are gonna be announced because interest rate go up first, right? Interest rate will be reflected in terms of future earnings, and then stock P ratio will be a lot higher right now, and hence price will come down even more. And if you look at S&P 500, right, we only dropped like 30 or 40% or something like that. I think there might be another 10 or 20% to drop even more. So if we are drawing down another 10 to 20% on the SP 500, right, crypto will magnify that, right? So not too sure. So I actually not sure where I am right now. So but in the long run, I'm bullish.
Same lah. And I think you should be too. I think it's just this current stage where like we know that the bear market is going to stay here for a while. So maybe take some time off. And I think we spoke about this also in our last episode. So like, to be honest also, like there was a stage where I used to be reading crypto news every single day, every single minute.
Now no more already.
And now it's like maybe I'll catch up once a week.
Do you know about the whole 3AC thing, the Celsius thing, all those liquidation stuff? Yeah,
I mean, as much as I saw a few tweets about it and I didn't read up further lah, cause like there's just so much bad news, right? Like but yeah, what's your take on the whole tree?
Wow, I don't know, sia. Like I feel like, I mean, they always say like once bad news come, then you know who's swimming naked, right? And then
Mark Cuban.
So all these companies, they are actually basically just using clients' money to long and short, and I don't know whether this is responsible. And I feel like it ties into the whole idea of like, should crypto be regulated, right? And then we go back to the whole
decentralization
of decentralized versus centralization, right? Like in one way, you see lah, you never control all these guys, you never regulate, and hence all of these guys do all this whatever stuff that cause them to be liquidated and lose a lot of money for a lot of people. And yet, if you want to regulate the space, then it goes into against the whole idea of like decentralization, right? Which is the beauty of crypto and blockchain, right?
I think the other argument also is that I'm someone who is pro-regulation to a certain extent, but then you look at the financial markets that is fairly regulated. There's also a lot of shady stuff that happens. Like the whole housing market thing that happened in 2008 and stuff like that. So I guess like there's no real foolproof system, but some regulation at least
will be good lah.
Will act as some deterrence. From I think like with Tracy, like I think they took on way more risk than they should have with like some of their clients' money, right?
But the good thing is that now in the next cycle, people will know about this and they'll be more careful about this kind of stuff. So like funds or like institutions, they'll be more careful about deploying their money to other funds and make sure that there are like proper checks and whatnot lah.
It's part of an industry maturing in that sense. And these are the growing pains that come from it.
Yeah. I think hopefully, the next cycle will come earlier lah. I think that's my hope every day right now. When moon, right? Nowadays it's like, oh my god, every day is just red, right?
Yeah, and the thing is that until today I haven't turned off my coin market cap notifications.
Oh,
for all the coins that I own, right? So every day it's like this thing is down.
Oh, but when it's up, it's like up quite a fair bit.
Yes,
10-20%. Then after that, drop 10-20%. So we're ranging also lah.
Yeah. So some days I go like, oh, could this be? No lah, but it's not.
Yeah.
But yeah. Hey guys, so I know this episode was a little bit more conversational, but it was really just me and Jacky catching up because we haven't really spoke about crypto in the last 1 month or so. I think we've been a little bit busy.
Yeah.
But also before you go, there's 2 things that we want to shout about. The first, I'll let Jacky do and I'll do the second.
Right, so the first one that we wanted to share about is basically Chin Debrief Nexus. We have a learn and earn in case you are not familiar with it. What happens is that we're partnering with Polygon right now. We're quite thankful that they are working with us on Nexus, which is at chindebrief.com/nexus, right? You can learn about how you can start building on Polygon and be rewarded with Matic tokens. So please do check us out.
Yeah. And the second thing is that we'll be holding a summit. It's called the Web3 Summit that will be happening at the end of July. Basically, we're going to bring down a lot of notable people, speakers, such as Consensus. So the company that built MetaMask, for example, I'm sure all of you know MetaMask. Irene Dao. We've got Darius from QCP. Anybody else notable?
Binance is coming down. Nansen is coming down. All those guys, NFT creators as well. We're bringing everyone together to basically talk about what's happening in the space right now, who's building, what are the trends that you should look out for, and there'll be opportunity for you guys to ask them questions as well. So for that, you can visit the website managem.asia/summit to look at the full agenda and how you can participate.
Alright, we'll see you in the next one. Like, share, subscribe. Bye-bye.